course, the 420 diesel, not the 420i, 420D. Where do I start? Coupe. So this is the Gran Coupe version. It's the 4-door version of a 4 Series with 4 doors, 5 doors, you include that boot at the back. And it's probably, it's the nicest car that BMW make in this range, right? So I'm a big fan of their electric efforts when it comes to the 5 Series, the 530e, for instance, one of my favourite cars this year. But this 4 Series is just enough of everything. There's just enough BMW-ness in the whole car to make you entertained, but not too much of the kind of safety stuff. So this one is not X-Drive, it's just a standard rear-wheel drive. I have dual zone climate control, which I can't sync for some reason. So when I change this one, it doesn't change the other one, even though there's no passenger there. I know that's not a big thing. Just, I like to have the two numbers the same, unless there's someone on that side that wants to do it. iDrive is brilliant, but complicated. And it seems to have gotten more complicated over the last little while, particularly for things like CarPlay and stuff. So I've plugged in my iPhone, which I've connected CarPlay to basically every car that I've driven this year. I've connected CarPlay to, and it's worked perfectly every time. You just plug it in, and it goes, "Do you want to use CarPlay?" And you go, "Yeah, I want to use CarPlay." And that's the last question. It just doesn't ask anymore. But BMW one, I plugged it in, and nothing happened. I thought, there's no CarPlay in this car. What's the story? But it is. It's buried in the menu somewhere. Now, I have my phone on airplane mode at the moment, so you're not going to find out about CarPlay anyway. But it was mildly annoying now to have that pop up. BMW are the king of steering wheels. We've discussed this before, okay? They do. The steering wheels they do are absolutely glorious things to hold. Their cars they've always been the sporty one. You know, the Audi is the kind of sensible, fast German one, you know? Quattro and all this kind of coolness that Audi exude. Mercedes still has the old man thing, struggling to shake that off, mainly because they don't really support the brand here in a youthful way. That's really, I think, in my brain, that's all I ever think about. Mercedes make great cars, and they've stuck with rear-wheel drive mostly. Some of the cars are front-wheel drive, but mostly rear-wheel drive. But now they seem to be pushing back towards the kind of old man again. And then there's BMW, who is the sporty, youthful one, but could be driven by the old men as well. Slap bang in the middle. But for the last couple of years, they've been driving X-Drive down our throat. Every press car has come with X-Drive. They've all come with this, it's just, they keep pushing and pushing and pushing this idea that we need four-wheel drive in the car. And it becomes from a fright Audi got a few years ago in Ireland, when we had a major heavy fall of snow that lasted a few days, and the news showed us BMWs in hedges, mostly BMW as well, rear-wheel drive. People who were driving their whole life on summer tyres in Ireland, in this temperate climate like today where the sun is shining but it's 2 degrees outside, where you could hit a patch of black ice at any second, but mostly nothing much happens. And that frightened BMW. And so the first thing they did was to bring out, they started a winter training driving course for BMW drivers, where you could go and slide the car and do all that sort of stuff. And then they brought in X-Drive, and they've been pushing that ever since. So it's really refreshing to get into a car that BMW has said, you know what, the person who's going to buy this car actually knows how to drive. So here's a rear-wheel drive one. And so that's what this feels like. Performance-wise, it's a really, really powerful, good package. It seems to do what you want it to do. In comfort mode, it just trundles along here quite nicely, recharging the battery every once in a while. It's not electric, don't get me wrong. What it's charging and what it's saving in power, it's sending back to the engine to run the electrics. I do have modes. I have the usual Eco Pro, efficient dynamics stuff. I can configure that. I have comfort, I have sport, and I have sport plus, which turns off the limited stabilization. Now, it does not turn off your traction control. It does not. It turns it down, so it allows you a certain amount of slip, and this is pretty much what they do with the M series as well. They allow you a certain amount of slip, and then they stop you. Then they cut in and they fix the problem before it gets out of hand too far. And I get why they do that. I understand why they do that, because obviously they don't want someone to crash their car. But when you get an experienced driver, like me, getting in the car, or maybe you, some people who know what they're doing, a proper, like, pilot at the wheel type person who's done a bit of race driving, I don't really need that. I need a setting where I can actually turn stuff off. And I know you can hold down buttons and press things, and there's software ways of getting at that, but they'll take that away as well, slowly but surely. Now, in other videos we've discussed connected drive before, BMW system whereby you are connected to the internet and the car is being tracked at all times. You are not being irradiated by that. And you have the concierge service where you call up the concierge and you go, I want to get a hotel room in Dublin for the night, thanks very much. And they tell you where to go and they put in your sat nav. It's all very automated, very connected, and it works. It works very well. Again, I still don't have a future price for what that's going to be in Ireland if it becomes quite a successful thing. It is as standard in most of their cars, if not all of their cars. It's a dirty road day, so you get this gristle that comes off the road, this horrible splattery thing comes off the road all the time, even though it's not raining. And I have a bit of a cold, so I'm apologising for going every couple of minutes. But I don't want to snort on camera. Thanks very much. So I find myself increasingly talking about the tech in a car when I'm driving along, the amount of tech that's involved, because the tech level is going up on cars. And I get it. I know why it has to. We're pushing towards an automated driving system. We're pushing towards having more and more connectivity in a car, because that's what, as users, that's what we're demanding. More and more connectivity. We want Apple CarPlay. We want these kind of systems in our car. Now, BMW have done a kind of cheaty thing here, whereby they've put in a screen up here where you can have your Apple CarPlay and all that sort of stuff. It's a bit complicated to hook it up, but you can have it all if you want it. But the problem is, it's not touchscreen. That's not touch. You have to use the wheel here to do your thing with. Which may not seem like a problem right now, but when you're in a submenu of a submenu in Apple CarPlay or something, it's awkward that it's not a touchscreen. And I know that sounds really pedantic, but it should be a touchscreen. Anyway, you've been very good to watch this far. You must be a dedicated follower. Thank you very much for watching. You can subscribe here if you're not already subscribed. It's very useful if you do that. You can also click that bell button beside the subscribe button if you want to get notifications for when a video goes up. I'm blind! I'm blind! Oh. I lost my sunglasses. Well, I didn't lose them. I know where they are, but they're not with me. They're in Rialto. You can support me on Patreon, patreon.com/nextgear. You can send a single payment if you'd like to pay for videos. It's brilliant when somebody does that, really does. It goes a long way towards supporting the channel, it really does. But you can go for a single payment on PayPal. My email address is bobflav@thenextgear.com. That is actually my email address. You may email me on that and you will get me. You can also go to paypal.com/bobflavin, which is a new link that they put out recently, which puts you straight into me. But if you do none of those things, all you got to do is click the subscribe button, and your support is muchly appreciated. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you on the far side. So I'm out to film the 420D, but I actually have an inflate tyre thing that's come up on the screen. So I'm going to check the tyres. That's been there since I got the car. I thought I reset everything. I've reset all the stuff, but I still complain about the tyres. I've checked them. This is the third time. So there must be a little fault somewhere in the sensor. Not a big deal, but still best to check them all the same. So a good tip is to find the pressure for your tyres. You actually generally look inside the door here. You'll find this little card on the side of it that tells you the different pressures to put into your tyres depending on how many occupants are in the car. Interesting. Okay, so I've done the front couple. Here's the thing I'm doing it with. I have a pin in the ground. There's a machine over there. You just put in the number, pressure, what you want, which is 35. And then you just plug it into the thing, hold it there. And the machine will figure out how much is in it, which is 29. So they are low. Let's fill it up now, you can hear it. That's the beeps, that's what I'm looking for. Done. Remember to put your dust caps back on. Really simple. All you do is put in the pounds per square inch you're looking for. It's 35, 32 in the front. Press the button, what you want, and then just plug it in and it does the rest. That's that part done. Tyres are all inflated. Checks are done. I'm going to get in, reset the tyres. Okay, so the message is still up on the screen here, so I'm going to close that message. Then I'm going to perform a reset. And then to inflate all tyres to correct pressure, then perform reset. Only possible when the vehicle is stationary and ready to drive or ready to operate. So perform reset. And it says drive off to start reset. Right, and it's back working. So 2.2 in the front, 2.3 in the back. It seems to be happy at that.